A venue that I'm familiar with but had never fished is Boscombe Pier. In February, the plaice arrived and there's a chance of turbot or a small-eyed ray. This video covers 2 sessions from the southwest corner of the pier head after those species. The first was over the school half-term holidays, and much to my surprise, it wasn't crowded at all. You can pause the video here for ticket information. If you fancy fishing on a beach instead, there's plenty of parking to the west of the pier along Undercliff Drive. From October to the end of March, the parking charge is fairly reasonable, so I parked here for the first session. However, there is a car park close to the pier entrance with the same charges. It's also got charging points for electric vehicles, which might be handy for some. The information boards show the parking charges for other times of the year, and these are quite steep. Arriving for the first session, I was greeted by ideal conditions. A bit misty, but hardly any wind. There was no one else on the pier, so I had a free choice of where to fish. I settled for the corner facing Bournemouth Pier and Studland. This is a popular choice, hence the bait cutting board next to the lamppost. I've still not acquired dedicated pier rods, so I'm using my 07s. I've started by casting a 3-hook clip down rig as far as I could, and a short snood boom rig down the edge. The artwork to my left is some wind chime instrument. Although it's broken, that didn't stop people trying to play it later on in the day, which did get a bit annoying. However, early on in the session I was pretty much undisturbed, and that included by fish. As I'm waiting for my first bite, I'll run through the locational details. Boscombe is an eastern suburb of Bournemouth in Poole Bay, Dorset. It's part of a stretch that runs from Sandbanks to Hengistbury Head, and that includes Southbourne. In the area, there are a number of zig-zag paths which traverse the sandy cliffs, with Toft zig-zag being closest to Boscombe Pier. Undercliff Drive runs the whole way from Boscombe Pier to Bournemouth Pier. There's a series of zigzag paths to the east side of Boscombe Pier, and these sort of merge with those at Southbourne. As already mentioned, the main car park is above and close to the entrance to the pier. Midweek, there's a parking attendant at the entrance to Undercliff Drive, and there is limited free parking a bit higher up the hill. You can fish from the stem of the pier as well as the pier head, where there's room for about a dozen anglers. I've indicated where I fished for the 2 sessions in this video. Long rods actually help at this venue, since there are some wires installed around the whole of the pier head and adjacent stem to prevent people from jumping. There are plenty of rig remains attached to those wires, so people do get caught out by them. Not having had a bite close in, I'm now casting my boom rig a little bit further out in the direction of Bournemouth Pier. Although my rods are very sensitive tips, they're a bit overkill for here, since there's hardly any tide or pull and you're fishing over clean ground. I'm using continental leads, since those with wires are not needed, and I could have used watch leads, although I didn't bring any. At the moment, I'm only using ragworm to see if I can get a bite. The sun is now starting to burn off some of that mist, and it looks like it's going to be quite a nice day. I'm now baiting up a rig chosen to be fished with sand eel. That's my preferred choice for small-eyed rays, and it gives you the chance of catching a turbot. Here I'm adding a strip of squid to the sand eel and wrapping that up with elastic. That toughens up the bait a bit, just in case there are crabs about. The rig is a 2-snood version, with a lower snood having a wishbone set up. Hooks are Aberdeen styles, 1/0s and 2/0s. I usually snip off the sand eel head before trying to mount it. Once again, I'm adding some squid to form a cocktail. To make the bait a bit neater, I'm trimming off overhanging ends. So this rig's got 3 fish baits intended for rays and turbot. As I was preparing that new rig, I noticed a knock on a rod with a boom rig. A strike, and I think I've got something on.
Anything? Huh? Oh! Oh, we got a flatty. Plaice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little plaice. Bit small though, isn't it?
Well, it's fish. First bite.
What do you do? Put him back?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's too small, isn't he?
Take picture first.
Nice one.
First bite.
Yeah, first bite.
Yeah.
What bait were you using?
It's a ragworm.
Oh, ragworm. Yeah, they like that, don't they? Oh, bless him.
Yeah, I know.
Put that bugger back. Yeah,
That's
he's...
a fish.
Oh, he's too small, isn't
Better than nothing.
he? Hey?
It's better than nothing.
Well, it's better than nothing, but you don't get anything here these days. What do you use? Barbless?
No, these
Barb.
barb, but they're fine wire, so
Oh, they bend if you pull.
yeah.
Oh, right, that's quite good, isn't it? Oh, bless him.
Anyway, although it's not big, I'm quite pleased with that, since that's my first place of the season. Since I finally got a bite, I'm trying to cast that rig into the same spot. If it's possible, it never does any harm to drag your baits. Time to try the rig with sand eel. Since I've only had that one bite so far, I've got plenty of time to bait up spare rigs. Then I notice a proper bite in a boom rig. Unfortunately, I think I've missed it. At least that's promising, and the fish has mangled the worm. A group of kids have now arrived and are fishing to my right. There are also two guys now fishing the other corner of the pier head. Fish baits didn't get me a bite, so I'm back onto the 3-hook clip down rig with ragworm. And I've just had a bite on that. And there's little place number 2.
No, what you're meant to do is...
Gonna throw them back in, is it?
Yeah, too small.
I can't shift the hook, so it's a job for the forceps.
And that's the statue right over there. There's the one. That's the Jason the Goat. Where find out? You do. Get one of my shit.
I'll get another bite, and this time it feels like there's a bit more resistance.
There. Going on over there. You got to be careful.
Well, it's not a bigger place, but a double shot of those small ones. Still, I'm happy with that on a pretty hard day.
Oh, he's caught stuff.
So, not a really noteworthy session, although it has got my plaice season underway. A week later I was back and had the pier to myself, so I elected to fish the same spot. I'll be casting near to where I caught the fish last time. On the previous session I fished up to and just over high water. This time I'm starting close to high water and I'll be fishing it down, but I'll only be here for a few hours. I'm alternating the use of different rigs. I've just wound in a long wire boom rig and I'm changing that for a short wire one. I've already got that rig baited up, and once again I'm using ragworm. The other rig I started with is a 3-hook clip down rig, and that's going to be swapped over to a loop rig. I've got ragworm on the top hook of a loop rig and sand eel on the bottom one. The black and green beads are to attract plaice, and I've got a slightly bigger hook with a bigger ragworm on, so this rig is targeting better fish than the ones I caught last time. The loop helps streamlining baits for casting, and it allows you to use quite long snoods, so this is pretty much a clip down, one up, one down rig. So let's have a closer look at the rig's bait and setup. Although conditions are good for plaice, there's a bit of a southwesterly breeze which is straight into my face. Although my rods aren't being pulled along the railings, I still like to use something to separate them. A cloth rod bag, or in this case a bungee, will do. It's another slow start, but what concerns me a bit is last time I caught all my fish at the top of the tide. It's now top of the tide and I still haven't had a bite. Something's had a go at the ragworm on top snood of loop brig, but I didn't spot a bite. When nothing's really happening, all I can do is go through the motions and try different rigs. about 3/4 of an hour down now, and I get my first bite. The first little place comes to a long wired boom rig with size 3 hooks and ragworm. That's better. I spot another indication. Unfortunately, I don't connect, so I'm leaving the rig there. You never know, the fish might have another go. It took its time, but I get another bite on a rig that I left out there. That's the second fish to long wide boom rig. It's about an hour and a half down now, and fortunately I'm getting a few bites. However, those little fish aren't at all confident, and I am missing a few bites. There's the smallest one so far, and once again it's a long wide boom rig. Bite on a loop rig on the left hand rod gets me a bit excited. But then I get distracted by another bite on a boom rig on the right hand rod. So, this is small plaice number 4. I spot another bite on a loop rig, so this time I strike. Unfortunately, it wasn't a sand eel, and it's plaice number 5. Once again, not the best of sessions, but at least I did catch. Maybe in a few weeks' time, the better sized plaice will arrive. Though I tried fish baits in both sessions, that wasn't successful, so it might be a while before I catch my first turbot or small-eyed ray this year. We do show from this venue, but we've got to pick the right place at the right time.